Hey guys, so SoundHound AI is this voice AI powering AI is this voice AI powering potentially McDonald's, but also automakers. Is the stock too risky? Well, SoundHound AI is bringing next level voice AI to major industries. It's already working with some companies powering their voice assistants and big name automakers, which we'll get into. While the tech is super exciting and it's been a crazy volatile stock, you want to watch this closely because we trade this live in real time today. We trade it at market open. We're up about $500, and you can see in our community and Stockmates, that second link down in the description, we bought this support right here. And if you're in our live sessions, you're going to see these trades. Like we saw this support and resistance that basically was laid out here, as you can see. And it's a great community that we built here on YouTube as well. But in Stockmate, you see that the entries real time. So if you're watching from YouTube, make sure to think for yourself because stocks can move fast. I'm making this video. There's more risk unless you're in it for the long haul with these companies. So if you're day trading, if you just make sure to control those entries and exits, don't chase moves, and make sure to let me know down in the description what stocks you're watching. But I just share that with you to urge some caution, okay? And make sure to have some caution when looking at the stock. If you're in our live sessions, it's a little different story. You get to see real time. But basically today, you can see Stockmate was, we were watching in our live session, it got rejected here at $10, sold down to this $9 range yesterday, and then bounced again, shot up to that $10 range, and then sold down right at market open. It was at the support. So we ended up seeing that thanks to one of our members, James, in Stockmate pointed that out. We just had sold CTM for around $450 profit at market open, and then we were looking for a stock, looking for opportunities. It was kind of hard because most of the market was kind of up today, and then we actually found this move on SoundHound where it seemed like it had a lot of potential. You see this support and resistance. It was right here at the support, so fairly low risk. We bought it. Now we've been riding it. And personally, I told a lot of our members, like, look, if it gets up to $10, $50, or $11, potentially sell. That's all power to you. Personally, I'll be holding it over the weekend. We made a lot of really great trades towards the end of the week here. You can see the portfolio is literally up 28%. So a couple $1,000s towards the end of the week puts us in a position where, now we're looking at possibly taking a higher risk trade on SoundHound. And you might say, what is a higher risk trade on SoundHound? Let's take a look. So you can see this longer term trend on SoundHound where it's been selling off and it's starting to develop this downtrend. You see it's got this support here, lower support there. And then the same thing with the highs. You got lower high, that resistance there. And now it's kind of making its way back up. I think it's going to make its way into this resistance level of $11.50 to $12 and potentially continue its overall direction. Now, if we back up, just take a look back, it looks like, it looks like a pump and dump. That's what it looks like. And maybe, I could be wrong. This is it. It's going to sell off. SoundHound's not going to make any more progress. When we look at the market of AI, it's growing exponentially, especially when it comes down to voice AI. So there's a lot of contracts that they'll most likely get. There's one contract potentially with McDonald's where, imagine you go to McDonald's, they take your order, and they sound like how we sound in this video. So they're like, hey, John, hopefully you're having a great day today. What can I get for you today? And you're like, oh, wow, what a great attitude. And then you're like, I'll take the double. And they're like, do you want fries on that, John? And you're like, wow, this is so good. Or fries with that, John? You're like, wow, this is great. And you go, you take your order. You didn't even realize maybe that it's an AI. So they're working on technology for the food industry. You get in, maybe a robot will hand you your order. I'm not too sure about that. But when we look at this company and how they're working, they're also potentially working with some police force. So voice analyzation, so the police officer or whoever doesn't have to dive deep and really look at all the analytics, but they could just have an AI tell them what they're looking at in front of them and be a little more educated on the go, as things are pretty high intensity. To have a voice AI there that's looking at the situation is good. So the chart selling off a little bit. I could see some bounce and potentially some continuation up, but SoundHound AI stock is an interesting one. Their market cap's at 3.9 billion. I think that's kind of high. They potentially could be overvalued. Now, they have investors from some of the bigger companies. They just recently lost some of their investment from Nvidia, according to reports. So that's interesting. When you check out their financials, they've been beating their revenue and their earnings per share consistently. They just reported quarter 4 revenue and they beat earnings per share by 37%. So they were expected negative 8 cents. They came at negative 5 cents. So they're starting to potentially be positive here, which is quite interesting. You can see their, if you look at their quarterly revenue, this is where it gets interesting. And why I don't look at this chart here and I say, people say this could be a pump and dump. But yeah, it could be. And we could see it sell back down or what have you. It's possible. But look at the MACD, look at the RSI. Yes, it's still below the moving average, but it's starting to come up on that 200-day moving average right here, where it could potentially bounce and continue in this kind of upward momentum direction. And the reason that's important to look at is because if we're looking at this from a perspective of it's not a pump and dump, then we're going to say, well, what do the financials look like? When we look at the financials, their year over year revenue is improving. It's up 80% year over year. Their net income is up 41% there, and that was that quarter. If we look at their recent quarter, their net income was down a little bit, about 7%, but their revenue was up 89%. Net profit margins up about 43%. So you can see profits increasing a little bit, still negative, but they're improving. And I see improvement quarter over quarter. They're setting these targets and they're hitting them, and that's what you like to see. Now, when it comes down to SoundHound partnerships, let's take a look here. There was talk of potentially getting this partnership with McDonald's. So SoundHound is a voice AI company that McDonald's has considered using in its restaurants. And I mean heavily considered. McDonald's signed a contract with IBM, and then that contract fell through. And then SoundHound's voice AI technology, which incorporates a large language model in ChatGPT, is available in more than 10,000 food locations, according to this article that I am not saying is 100% accurate. I do not know. They say that that's not the most overvalued. They're talking here. They're saying it's backed by Nvidia. We know that some of that changed. But one of the things to consider is this industry is expected to grow fairly fast. So keep that in mind. Industry is growing. Earnings are looking pretty good. If we get into the SoundHound site, you might say earnings look good, but what are their solutions like? Where are they connecting? Well, you can see voice AI solutions for your industry. So they're talking to many industries. You can book a call more or less, how it is kind of similar to if you're trying to get Palantir plugged into your business. Automotive driving the future. Okay, so they have an automotive optimized edge cloud solutions powering robust independent voice experiences for automakers, including Stellantis, Hyundai, and Mercedes-Benz. Restaurants improve food ordering efficiency. So you could see here, we take food orders with SoundHound's voice AI for restaurants. We provide phone, drive-through, drive-in, and kiosk food ordering solutions that deliver faster, more reliable, and more convenient dining experiences while improving your bottom line. Smart devices. They're also working in the smart device, which we know is going to become more efficient and effective. We're going to see more smart devices. Amazon just released, they're going to have more smart devices that actually use real AI. But when you look at Alexa, it's good, but it doesn't use real AI. They're starting to develop real AI in-home smart devices. Hospitality and comforts. So this could potentially impact maybe the guest stays. Lights on, low, TV on, play a jazz playlist, order a Cabernet from room service, whatever. All those things. So they got mobile apps, hands-free, as you can kind of see their partnerships. They're working with big companies. They got big banks, big car manufacturers or big car companies. And that's indication that they're starting to plug into the industry and it's working. I like that you can talk to an expert and book a call with them right away. If I come here, I can actually book a call. This is exactly how they're going to get business. And any small business, medium-sized business, large business, most likely they have a system for converting those people into customers, business to business. Their revenue is increasing. They're not a massive company. Their valuation seems a little bit high to see that they, if we go again to their financials, but you look at that news, it looks good. But when we look at their financials, again, for a company that's worth 3.9 billion, and you look at their financials, and they're bringing in $25 million a quarter, 13 million, 11 million, 17 million. So they're probably bringing in around like 70 million a year or something like that, or 80 million a year. Does not make sense to have a $4 billion valuation. It seems overvalued. And so potentially we see them sell off more. It's possible that that revenue could jump extremely fast, and that valuation would make sense. But a lot of what's happening here is people are buying what could be, and if they get partnerships, for example, with McDonald's or others, that's going to increase the value of their company exponentially. They're in Santa Clara, so they're right there linked with a lot of California companies. We'll see how that plays out. And I imagine that they will get more interest, but that valuation's a little rough. That's why I'm just trading here on the near term, kind of trading on the way down, seeing if it bounces up to this resistance. I like it. This trade today, we're up $500 so far. I would imagine with the financials, the news, and some of the technicals that we've looked at here, we could see a short-term recovery potentially. Now, I've advised my stockmate community to sell at this point, but I'm doing a little bit of a psychological experiment with the markets, as I believe they've sold off a little bit more than what people might expect, and that we might see a recovery today, which we have seen, but also into Monday. And so I'm doing a little bit of my own experience. This is a small position of just about $3,500, so not a massive amount of money that I invested, but we're up about $500 so far on that trade. So I'm looking to hold this through the weekend. I plan to see how that goes in this kind of psychological look of how I believe the market will react. And I like to test my theses and pull the trigger, take action on them so that they're very memorable in how accurate I am. So if you guys would like to see some opportunities like the ones we caught at market open, another one we caught was CTM just yesterday, I believe it was, or yesterday or the day before. It was the day before. CTM dropped at market open down to, where was this dip? Right here. We caught this dip and bought at 87 cents. This happened, you can see the time, right at market open. 2 minutes after, we bought at 87 cents and rode it up to $1 and sold today. We held that position through and sold it today at $1.10 right here. So these are the types of trades we like to make on a daily basis. If you guys would like to join and see if those opportunities present themselves, then it's the second link in the description. Stockmate, we have a super huge sale that's not going to last too much longer with our lifetime access. If you'd like to get in, right now's the time. We'd love to see you at our market live session on Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. I'll keep you updated on this position here with SoundHound. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.